Oh my goodness, we are here with the president of Daily View Pools, Miguel, a buddy of mine who I met at UNC Charlotte, who has the best pool, hardscaping, outdoor recreational company on the planet. Miguel, why don't you say thank you and and pay me for that introduction?
It's super excited to be here. My name is Miguel. I'm a first generation college graduate from a low income immigrant family. I grew up in Huntersville, so kind of local here to the area. And I'm currently working in a swimming pool construction company. So the name of the company is Daily View Pools, which is a licensed contractor that exists to build outdoor spaces that inspire time together. We specialize in swimming pool construction, swimming pool renovations, swimming pool maintenance, which Memorial Day is coming up. I'm sure a lot of people want their pools clean. Please give us a call. We also do concrete flat work, pavers, and porcelain paver installations.
Wow.
Aside from all of that, I volunteer at a few places here in town. Most recently, attended a conference in San Francisco for Google I/O. I'm the local organizer for Google Meetups, Google developer groups in Charlotte. So I have a passion for technology and construction. And I'm trying to find ways to merge both.
Oh,
Okay,
that's perfect.
Miguel, let's back this thing up. You say that you are a family organization.
That is right.
I went to your website. I saw the family. They're attractive.
Okay.
But here's something I know. Working with family can be painful. Talk a little bit about that. Talk about working with your family. What is that like? I call it painful. It doesn't have to be for you. But just kind of walk me through that, because there's a lot of people that question whether they should start a family business. Give them some insight.
Yeah, I think you have to be really intentional about sort of the growth. When you think about the levers of scale, when you're growing different parts of your organization, you have to really understand where your family members fit in, right? If someone's really well spoken and likes to talk to customers, if you put them in a logistics role or something to do with transportation, they might not excel. So you have to really understand, maybe some of their characteristics and skill sets and where they're striving to be able to fit a role that aligns with what they want to do. Otherwise, it just makes it complicated to like grow a company. You
Right.
know,
Absolutely.
So who started this company?
so this company is actually started in 2016 out of the incubator out of UNC Charlotte. It was started by myself and my brother and my father.
So the three of you knew that you guys were going to start something. You just trying to figure out how and when to do it.
Yeah, so family members were involved in the pool industry for a very long time, working for other companies. And I was a part of the accelerator program at UNC Charlotte. I used to help mentor other student startups, helping them with pitch competitions. I even got one of our companies featured in Forbes magazine for it's a Charlotte company, first time it's ever happened.
Cool.
Learned a lot. Thought I knew about business. And looking back at it, I wish I would study a little bit more. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, you always
yeah,
look
always
back
learning,
and
always
realize,
learning.
I wish I knew
And
that. Yeah.
but yeah, so it was started then. I had two family members with industry experience, and I had sort of the backbone of administration that I have learned at UNC Charlotte. And I was like, let's do this together and let's make it happen.
So was it always going to be, I'm sorry, James,
Okay.
was it always going to be pool related, outdoor related? I mean, was that sort of the foundation that you guys are you going to start with?
That's right. Yes, we are pool builders first before we do hardscapes and everything else. Right?
Yeah.
Pools is where we grew up, and that's where our business is currently operating in.
So what's your ideal customer? Like what does that look like to you?
So the ideal client avatar, as I would call it,
Mhm.
we have two, right? We have grandparents who are either close to retirement age or have retired, who want to provide outdoor space to bring family together. Again, with the family-owned business part,
Mhm.
this is grandparents who maybe want to spend time with their grandkids and want a space where they can inspire time together.
Yeah.
That's why we have that tagline:
Okay.
inspire time together.
And so why is somebody calling you guys? I mean, I know why I call you, but why would somebody call you guys?
Yeah, so I think part of it is our specialty in the concrete pool industry. There isn't that many companies in that area, and also just good reviews.
Yes.
We've had a lot of good referrals from customers in the past. What makes us different, one of our unique differentiators, is that we in-house, in-source all the work that we do, except gas and electrical, which require the permits.
Mhm.
But when you think about constructing a pool, it's a very big investment, and it takes a lot of trust for somebody to say yes and move forward with tearing up their backyard and digging a pool and building a new structure.
Yeah. So why, you scaled over something. You just went over something. Why is it so important that these are employees as opposed to just contractors you get off the street?
Yeah, so it goes to our values, right? We really teach our company three core values, which is we care, we clarify, and we go. We care about
Whoa,
the
whoa,
families.
slow down. Say those three again.
We care, we clarify, and we go.
Got it.
And James, to answer your question, the reason it's important to have full time staff is the only way to educate them and improve safety in a job site is to have people in your payroll.
Yep.
When you're having contractors, you can't control them. You can't control your timelines. You can't control your schedules. We've heard a lot of horror stories of people waiting a year plus to get their pool built once construction has begun, and that's unacceptable. It shouldn't take you that long to build a pool.
And for all those people who don't know, I'm gonna move away from the pools for a second. I want to talk a little bit about you, right?
Let's do it.
This is important. If you know anything about being an entrepreneur and you're in that space, Miguel is everywhere. From grants to awards to mentorship. What's driving you? Because that's not a pool. That's driving you as a better person. Like, what is your motivation for that? Like, what's your motivation for getting other entrepreneurs in the business, doing things, and just being successful?
So I'll take it back to how we started the conversation, right? With growth and areas of growth.
Mhm.
I'm a firm believer that your team, its growth will equal the growth of the company. So as the president and CEO of the business, I have to continue to educate myself all the time in new technology, in new tools, in the construction industry, new equipment that we can utilize to better like serve our customers and serve our team. So like the continued growth and learning, I'm an active learner. I think is what's pushing me to take part of all these programs. I like to say that I've completed every program in the city for
Yes.
accelerators.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
think
actually talked about that earlier.
Well,
so
we did,
Yeah.
and we can tell an entrepreneur because they are constantly learning. I mean, you just want to continue to gather information.
But one of the things that's important, again, I know you're talking about you, but what's driving you? Because you're mentoring people. You don't go to work as a 9 to 5 and say, okay, I got my paycheck and I'm done. You're coming back into these communities. You're mentoring people. You're trying to produce the next group of entrepreneurs. What's driving you to do that? Because that's what makes you unique.
yeah, so I think I could trace it back to radio. Actually,
Mhm.
let's talk about the radio. My first like sort of management position was at UNC Charlotte. There was a radio station called Radio Free Charlotte, which I managed back in my college days, and that's where I really kind of understood the importance of providing outlets for people to learn. So at the time, that radio station was the only outlet for older journalism, communication majors and minors that were interested in radio to have any experience in
Mhm.
Charlotte at UNC Charlotte, and that was really rewarding,
Yeah.
right? So as I look at my journey now, like creating communities is important to me because by creating communities, it creates not just learnings for myself, but learnings for other people. It makes it easier to access information. As an example, what I'm doing now when it comes to community building is really focusing on Google Developer Groups, which is a local meetup group that helps folks learn about Google technology. We get a ton of resources directly from Google to learn how to utilize AI, for example. Right now, it's really big. Gemini 1.5 is about to come out. And most people don't know about this. I went to the conference just last week. I got back from San Francisco on Friday, and I learned a ton about technology that I wish our community in Charlotte knew more about. So it's not just about me, but how can we push the entrepreneurial community and be more competitive? Because when you look at the whole national sort of like scale, we're only one city out of the whole nation.
Yes. Yes. And see, and that's important to me because what they always say is people do business with people they like. One of the things that we find in Charlotte, Huntersville, Cornelius is we just have too many transitional people that are coming in and out with, the wind. And having somebody that's stable, that's here, that's just more incentive to be able to
Well,
use.
and such a big project, it's trust.
Yes.
I got nightmare stories of neighbors that start a project and then that contractor can't finish it. Let's talk about that when we come back. You are listening to Local Biz Now. Say it, James. Say it.
Your business matters.
Yeah.
Your business matters.
Yeah. We'll be right back. Oh, James, he's trying to take your job.
Yes.
from you.
Oh, it's not hard. It's got 20 minutes left of it.
Oh man.
Yeah, we have nothing better to do.
I've been doing this show about 11 years. And probably the fifth or sixth show, somebody was asking me a question, and I was just getting ready to start the intro to the show, and I wasn't ready for the intro. And this is back when the board operator was actually in the room
Yeah.
because it wasn't a big chicken hiding behind the glass like some people do now. Um, and and so I had like 3 or 4 things going at the same time, and somebody was asking me a question, and the guy was like, "You're live," and so I just said, "This is local business now. Your business matter." And it just stuck, right? So for 11 years, I've been saying that.
It works. It works.
I love that.
Thank you for all
Like
the work.
most things in my life, it was an accident, but we've been saying it for 11 years now, you know.
Amen to that. Oh my goodness, my goodness. That
And
is
I don't even know why I said it. Like it was because I was thinking about the next person that's on the air, and I'm dyslexic. So reading and talking at the same time is really hard for me. And so they didn't realize that that's what I was trying to do was read the next intro at the same time they were trying to have a conversation with me, and I was being hurry up at the same time.
God.
So from all of that came Your Business Matters.
It works. It stuck. It stuck. Well, it's like most nicknames. The
It
one
did
that somebody
stick.
gives you,
I mean, it
sticks.
stuck.
Yeah.
It definitely stuck.
Can't give yourself a nickname. Somebody else has got to give it to you.
I'm waiting until someday somebody says I stole it from them.
Oh, well, we already had our conversation last week. Somebody stole something from me. I'm like, God, I'm not even a big business yet. Can you at least wait before you start stealing stuff?
We had that woman on last week about branding and everything. We gotta go ahead and formally get Local Biz Now and Your Business Matter official, so nobody steals it from us. You can do that. You can have it if you want to. Will.
It's Local Biz Now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah, #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, Local Biz Now, where... Oh, come on, Wilton. You didn't even have his mic on.
Oh!
Miguel, he hung you out to dry on that, man. Let's do it again. This is Local Biz Now. Miguel, do it.
Your business matters.
Yeah. Miguel is here. He is the president and CEO of Daily View Pools. Miguel, if they wanted to reach you, how could they do that, buddy?
Yeah, they can search us online, just dailyviewpools.com, or give us a call, 704-728-7376.
One more time.
704-728-7376.
And Miguel, Julie has also put them on your website on the book as well. Those of you that don't know Joe Talk, that is Facebook Live. We're on the book, so go there and you can go to their website. It's just an exceptional website. It tells me I know what I'm doing, right? The site is clear to me that that's happening. The other thing is when you put your whole family on the website, I absolutely can trust you. Like when I looked at your family, I just saw trust. Now, I also saw proud daddy sitting there in the middle, you understand, right? I know he's proud of you. But talk about that, because how do you explain to people you can trust us, we're going to do what we say we're going to do, when for so many years we have been sort of conditioned not to trust construction people, contractors, service people. Walk me through that process, because I know there's this education that requires you to do that for the new client.
Yeah, and you're right. Trust and education go hand in hand. And one of the biggest things is you have to meet folks where they're at, Some folks like very analytical answers. They want the data. They want to understand every detail about an estimate. Like, why should I choose this material over the other one? You have to answer those questions, right? Other folks, they just want to know how you operate. Like, tell me more about your business. How does it work? And the other folks want to know who we are. Tell me about Miguel. Like, who are you, and are you going to be here?
Yes,
right.
So it's it depends, right? Like, it depends on the client if they want to sort of access more information in order to build that trust, or if they want to develop a relationship with our company or a personal relationship to understand and be able to give us a call anytime they need something from us.
Right. And I'm curious, when you first go to meet them, is it always at the house, in the backyard? They're pointing at the grass saying, that's where I want my pool? Because everything you do is kind of from scratch, right? I mean, you can design anything they can imagine.
That is correct. Yes. And our usual process really kind of goes around scheduling a on-site. I'll have a team member reach out to them either in a call or email or both and try to figure out a time that works best with their schedule. And then from there, setting up a consultation depending on the type of work that we're doing. Some of that information we may be able to provide online or over the phone, and some of it we may have to be on site to really kind of assess the possibilities of building. But we built all types of pools. We've done heart-shaped pools. We've done a pool for a dog park, like they look like a shape of a bone. You kind of imagine it. We can build it.
So do you guys do the in-house design as well? How does that work?
That's right. Yes, we do. We take sort of the vision, and I wish some of the listeners could see this, like creating a 3D rendering of a paradise. Let's take one client for example that we completed in Fort Mill. Their theme was like Brazil. Like I want this place to feel like the Amazon, right? So we created this free-form pool that had multiple levels of decking and a grotto, 8-foot grotto, like with huge drop and a lot of natural rock. We put rocks in the deck, and you'll think you're in Disneyland.
Right.
And we put that into a visual reference that they could utilize and say, hey, when we move that rock here, put that there, and then taking it from a design to build. That's the magic, right? Taking it from something that was visualized in paper and on the computer and making it real.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
And that's a skill.
Yes.
I mean, that's a real skill to be able to do that. Not all builders can do that.
Yeah, and part of it is having the construction experience, right? So where I see a lot of companies failing is having really, really good salespeople that have no background in the construction industry.
They
don't
say,
know how-
yeah, we could do that.
Exactly.
Yep.
No, you can't.
Yes. Yes.
So that's where we invest most of our energy is in the logistics and operations and technology. So both of those are sort of top of mind for me all the
Wow.
time.
Gotcha. Well, here's something that's also interesting. I'm going through the process, as you know. And one of the things I'm doing in interior renovation, and one of the biggest drawbacks right now is I can call 15 decorators. One may call me back. And then it's a crapshoot whether they show up or not. So how are you kind of dealing with this in this whole cesspool of contractors that are in the Carolinas right now? I mean, do you have a process for calling back? Do you promise, hey, if we get your message, we're calling you back in 2 days? How are you making sure that's actually happening?
Cesspool.
Yes,
Is that what you call it?
that's what I'm calling.
He is right. It is a nightmare if you're on the end wanting these services.
Yeah. So one of the ways we're helping is just by educating, right?
Mhm.
First of all, our company is, if you search us as pool contractor, Charlotte,
Mhm.
North Carolina, will be one of the first folks to come up.
Mhm.
And we are available when our client is available. And what I mean by that is, if you look at our ideal client avatar,
Mhm.
they're likely working, from 9 to 5.
Mhm.
So they're not going to be calling us and having a
Yep.
full consultation from 9 to 5.
Correct.
So we always have someone on site or available after hours
Mm.
to be able to answer those questions and allow people to get those responses as quickly as possible in the hours that work for them.
Yeah, that sets you apart, right? It's not the pool. It's not the process. People want to trust the contractors. They want to know that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. You're going to call back. This is what's so important, and I think this is something for me, which is why I had you on the show, right? Because I know that when somebody calls you today, you're going to get a call back, and that's something a lot of people don't expect anymore. I know too many people in the real estate industry who will say to you now, God forbid you got to get something done on your house because you're not likely to get called back. So that's kudos to you and the team.
So from my experience, the design side is so important. Do you work with a lot of interior designers to help them? Because I could not tell you what I want my pool to look like. I can give you the feel. Like I got it when you said Brazil, right? Like I would be that guy. You know what I mean? I want to feel like I'm in Italy, overlooking the ocean. That's all. I wouldn't know how to describe that, right? So clearly this initial design part to me is what makes you really special, and then the construction piece at the end makes you absolutely defining. Those seem to be the two differences. Can you talk about the merging of those two, because it really is unique?
Yeah, so our lead designer, for example, has experience in the construction industry. So when he's like creating, he's actually built pools.
Wow.
With his hands. So when he's designing floor plans, we're thinking into account everything from access points of the property to where we're going to store equipment. Are we going to store equipment on site, off site, depending on the project type? So all that has to be accounted for when you're kind of, doing a design. But when it comes to the homeowner, really the important part is understanding the use case. Like, what utility are you trying to get out of the space? Is it Are you trying to swim, or you have kids that you want to get into swimming? Okay, well, we have to build a pool that is sort of the length of it is at least 40 feet, so you have enough space to do those laps, right? Is it, hey, I'm just trying to have a good time with my friends, and like couples are over and like having like a dinner or whatever? Then we'll build something that maybe fits that lifestyle more. Oh, like I just have grandkids, I want to come over. Okay, let's focus on tanning ledges that don't have a lot of water. That way, there's no possibility of drowning, and creating water features that kids can play in. So the utility is really, I think, what drives the decision of the design.
Wow.
And one of the things you do, I think, which is why James connects with you guys, it's not just the pool. It is the entire concept of outdoor living. How are you going to live in this space? Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I love to talk about that. As a family business, we spend a lot of time together. And we see that too, right? Like, again, we're going back to our ideal client avatar, grandparents, parents, like, who have kids. Um, we have some young professionals as well, but most of the time
You're too young to have kids.
yeah, we
Yeah.
we focus on, like, those clients, but
Right.
it depends.
Yep. Now, do you educate your clients about the safety of having a pool? Like, so now I know a lot of people that think about pools, they worry about, oh, what do we have to do? Is this a nuisance? Can we get sued? How do you work that into your process?
Usually that takes place at sort of towards the tail end of the project,
Hmm.
right? Like when they're seeing the project. Usually when we add the water, it's like, okay, let's schedule some time to go over this equipment,
Hmm.
and whether you're gonna have another company, our company,
Hmm.
or are you gonna self manage?
Yep.
Because that would sort of dictate the conversation we have with them.
Mhm.
Anyone listening, the biggest thing that I would sort of advise you to always be sort of cautious of, especially if you have kids, is to make sure that the bottom of the pool, the drains that are on the bottom, usually they're plastic or sometimes they're different colors, um, that are always on. That's one of the biggest things to look for. There's a ton of things that if you're not a proper operator, that can go wrong with your equipment. But as a future parent, hopefully, I would always want to check that the covers at the bottom of the pool are on. And the reason is it can be a hazard where if there's enough suction in the pump, someone can sort of get pulled in and they won't be able to swim out. And that has caused, thankfully, knock on wood, not in this area, but we've had cases in other cities where we've had that happen. It's called entrapment. It's very unfortunate. And that's why it's very important to have a really good professional take care of your pool.
Yeah.
We are talking to Miguel. He's the president and CEO of Daily View Pools. Go by and see his website. He is absolutely phenomenal. Give him a call. He'll be more than happy to come by and talk about the dream backyard.